I made $100,000 my first year in business, sold all my stuff, and just moved to Croatia using one simple system. And if you are a spiritual entrepreneur who's been posting, going live, making some one off sales, but the following just isn't converting to clients the way that you would hoped, then this video is going to change everything for you because I'm going to show you exactly how to build 3 aligned income streams using your human design. Which is the closest thing I found to getting paid to exist. My name is Amanda, and 7 years ago, I was literally in jail for the 3rd time in a single year. And sometimes I can be a little stubborn, have to learn things the hard way. And last year I was handpicked for Alex Hormozi's private mastermind, the Skool 100, one out of 100 people chosen from more than 5,000 applicants. I went from 0 to 6 figures my first year in business using human design, Skool, and AI. And I did all of it without a huge audience, without a fancy funnel, without burning myself out trying to be like everybody else. And here's what we're going to cover today. First, I'm going to show you why most spiritual entrepreneurs stay stuck in what I call the inspiring perfectionist trap, and it's not what you think. Then I'm going to break down the 3 income streams that every spiritual business needs and my exact seasonal blueprint that got me here. Finally, I'm going to show you how to avoid the biggest mistake that keeps coaches broke, even when they know their human design. So by the end of this video, you're going to have a clear roadmap to building your own aligned 6-figure business. Here's the thing about human design that nobody talks about. It's like this master of all systems. It's a combination of the Chinese I Ching, Hindu Brahmin chakra system, mystical Jewish Kabbalah, quantum physics, astrology. And what happens is you can very easily oversaturate the human design sponge in your brain, and it becomes imaginary knowledge that you don't know what to do with, because knowledge isn't power, only applied knowledge is. So when you have all this information in your brain and you're not actually applying it, it just makes you a crazy person. But by all means, you can fuck around and find out and go down the rabbit holes. You might be out here researching your gates and your channels and your profile lines, and you're just like, okay, cool. So I'm a 4/6 self-projected projector with a defined throat center, but then what? How does that actually translate into ROI? And I am anything if not practical. Taurus sun. If it doesn't help you pay your bills and you don't know what to do with it, what's even the point? Yeah, I know it's really interesting. I love going down rabbit holes and following my curiosity. And part of that is why I'm here today, but it was only by applying it as I learned it that got me here. Most spiritual entrepreneurs I work with have an audience, they have the expertise, but the attention and the followers that they've built and spent their time building are not converting into clients often, or definitely not recurring revenue. They're making these one-off sales where it's a feast or famine. Some months are better than the others, and they never know how to plan. So they just keep ending up in the same vicious survival trap cycle. People will tell them, oh, you're so inspirational, or they're in their DMs, but they never actually sign up to work with you or book a call or take that next step. And so you're hustling really hard to make these one-off sales, and it's not influencing the bottom line of your business overall. What's actually happening is you're stuck in the divine feminine. You're doing something you're really passionate about because this really matters to you and you really want to help people, but you have this block to receive. It's all flow, no structure. You're like waiting for your next video to go viral or the algorithm to save you or your next one-on-one client to save you, instead of creating the actual systems that start to bring in clients automatically. And I would say 9 out of 10 times, you are resisting to charging what you're worth because you want to be accessible to everyone. It's a money block. You just don't think it's possible. So when someone tells you, I can't afford it, you lower your price instead of knowing that the price is the price and people who pay attention. But can we be so fucking for real for a second? If you're not selling, you are not serving. Your soul clients have literally signed a contract to struggle until you show up and sell them something. There is no shortage of information. We have ChatGPT, Google, the internet, YouTube, university. Information is everywhere. What people are craving and are willing to pay for is transformation. And that's what you do because you're a fucking specialist. The solution isn't it's not structure or flow. It's integrating them both because you need the masculine structure and systems to hold your feminine flow. And that means building 3 specific income streams. First is your neutral income. This is your content and free Skool community: YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and a free Skool. It's your warm audience builder where people get to know who you are and see you as a teacher before they ever invest. Most people think that they need this massive audience in order to monetize, but it's not about quantity. It's about having the right people in your space. Your free Skool community acts as a living, breathing lead magnet, because if you're only creating content on these platforms, which are not designed to make you money, they are designed to keep people on the platform, you are making your life so much harder than it needs to be. So much harder. It's your duty and responsibility as a spiritual business owner to have these systems in place so that you are taking advantage and able to receive the leverage that you create by creating all of this content. So you create the content, send them to the free Skool. We'll dive into that more in detail later. But second is your active income. Your active income is your premium one-on-one coaching. This is the fastest path to cash, especially when you're starting. Instead of spending months and months building courses that nobody buys, you start with high touch, high value offers that create real results. This is the fastest path because until you have a proven one-on-one offer, you don't know what kind of courses, content, offers to make. You just don't know. You think you know what people want and need and are willing to pay for, but you really don't have the intel you need in order to be successful with the passive income yet. Then we move on to everybody's favorite, which is the passive income. This is how you scale. You start with what's unsustainable, with done for you active income offers that just, you're going to get so much more from these clients than they're ever going to get from you. But you start with that and then you move into the passive income. This would be your courses, memberships, group programs, workshops, downloads. But you only build this after you've worked with them, and you do it based on the patterns and the questions that you're noticing with your clients. So then you're literally getting paid to record your workshops instead of guessing what people want and ending up frustrated when you get one sign up. What keeps so many entrepreneurs stuck is they end up in this ChatGPT rabbit hole of tweaking and perfecting and creating these things, and they don't see any ROI. There's no traction, no momentum, because they never actually ship the work. There's no such thing as perfect. You start where you are, you start, then learn. Don't learn, then start. It's the only way. You can only receive a certain amount of clarity without the action. Like, when you're driving down the road at night and your headlights can illuminate the road in front of you, you don't see the whole path from A to your restaurant, but you see enough to get there. It's the same thing with this. Your active income or none of these things are going to be perfect. You start and then you make them less bad over time in collaboration with your clients. Now this is where things get fun. This is where I built out the seasonal blueprint, where your human design becomes your secret weapon. Because when you are showing up in alignment with who you are, with energetic authenticity, it's unreasonable, and you have the right offers and systems in place, it is unreasonable to expect that you wouldn't be successful. So the first season is winter. This is foundations and clarity. It's where you're really going to understand the basics and foundations of your energetic blueprint and create your core offer, where we're not chasing clients, we're refining our identity, understanding what makes us shine, and building the business beneath the business. Because, when they build a skyscraper, they don't start by going up, they start by going down. You can only go as far up as you're willing to go down and understand the nitty gritty. But again, this isn't about going down a human design rabbit hole where you learn all of these things that you don't know what to do with. It's very specific. So we dive into your aura type and strategy. So this is how your energy interacts with the world. We dive into your authority. When people make these pros and cons lists and they're like weighing the pros and cons of every single decision, asking all their friends what they think, that's not how you're here to make decisions. You have this inner authority, which is your inner decision-making compass, and it tells you exactly where to look in your body to make aligned decisions that move you with the flow of life so you can attract more opportunities, clients, and abundance. Because when you're going with the flow of life, you're more magnetic. And you don't have to go out here for answers because the answers are already here. Your body has wisdom and knowledge that your mind could never comprehend. Your mind is for inspiration, ideas, storing facts, research. Your body knows the answers. So that's the importance of that. Then we go into your defined and undefined centers. So your undefined centers where you're open are where you're most open to conditioning. And this is where you can hold space for your clients. This is where some of your greatest gifts are to share with the world, because if you have an open solar plexus, then you can really hold space for your clients' emotions like I do. And then your defined centers are your consistent access to, like the energies that you have consistent access to. And we want our offers to be anchored in that as well, because that's going to be sustainable for you. Then we go through your signature and not self theme. So this is how to know whether you're on track, whether you're following your strategy and authority. For example, I'm a projector. So when I'm following my strategy and authority, I experience success. There's a spiritual law that states that you can't get to the next level until you put somebody else at the level you're at. And this is especially true for projectors. But when I'm not following my strategy and authority, I experience bitterness. And so your not self theme is actually your portal to wealth, because it lets you know what is ready to evolve. Because if something that has been working is no longer working, it's a sign that something is ready to evolve. Like I said, if you're not growing, you're dying. You didn't come here to be comfortable and have everything handed to you on a silver platter. You came here to grow and change and evolve and become the best version of yourself. And what's really, really good for you and your soul is good for everybody else. And if you're constantly giving to everyone else, but you've got this block to receive, you are never going to be successful. Then we talk about your environment, which is you get your best content ideas and do your best work where your body feels the most safe. From winter, we dive into spring, which is your visibility and your magnetism. So now that we have the foundations, this is where you learn to really create content that actually converts using your authentic voice and how you shine. We're not here trying to go viral, although going viral what can and will happen when you do this. You're doing this to become known for something that matters to you and excites you and resonates with your ideal clients and the role that you're here to play. By the way, I made an entire PDF that goes along with this. If you want to follow along, I'll put the link below this video, but I also created this AI tool that's like an interactive version of the workbook where you can ask and interact with your human design, and the AI will read your human design and everything that I have in this 100K Business by Design blueprint and give you the specific answers you're looking for, no matter which season you're in, if you're looking at your offer, your content, your structure, how to set up your school. It already knows how to do all of those things, and it'll give you specific answers for you based on your human design. So you can, if you want the AI tool, that's inside Spiritual Business School, but you can get the PDF for free below this video. All right, so from spring, we dive into summer, which is your sales and sovereignty. This is where you launch and scale using your natural sales style. So we're not using the icky, pushy, bro marketing, outdated sales tactics, because they just don't work anymore and they're never going to work for you. If you feel icky and pushy and desperate doing it, like I already know you're not going to do it. So we're selling from our strategy, not somebody else's script. But remember, sales is service. And one of the most important things in any business is sales. So it's not that you don't have to sell, it's that you're able to do it in alignment with who you are. And one of my favorite things to use for this is the profile line, because there are certain pieces of content that you need to make and things about your buyer's journey that are really going to help speed up this process for you. And one of the big things I like to dive into inside Spiritual Business School is we create your own effortless sales framework. Because if you just get on calls with people and you're like, well, I'm just going to vibe it out and see if they hand me their credit card, you can do that if that's what you want to do. Okay, from summer, we go into fall, which is integration and embodiment. So this is where we really start to optimize, systematize, and prepare for growth. We're learning how to set boundaries that support your next level and creating the systems that run without you. Boundaries are so important. Once the boundary has been crossed, it's too late. You need to learn how to set these in advance with your clients and through your content so that you're not having to backtrack down the road, because that's what makes you end up building a business that you grow to resent instead of one that you grow to love more and more every single year. Every single time you hold a boundary, you are letting the universe know this is what I will and will not accept. And you decide. Here we also go through how to make a launch passive with my 9 launch triggers. So these are 9 triggers that you need to hit before you launch your first or your next workshop or passive income offer that people just, they have to know. And these are things that you can do that help people buy from you, and they go in a certain order. And I also have an email sequence that goes along with this. So you can just kind of plug and play based on your own offer and what your workshop's about. In fall, we also revisit your self and not self themes. Like I said, your not self theme is your portal to wealth. So now that we've kind of gone through the other seasons, you're able to look back and be like, okay, what in my business is making me feel bitter or frustrated or angry or disappointed? And then we map out what the opposite of that would look like. So if I'm bitter that my conversion isn't high enough, or I don't feel like enough people are joining my email list, what would success look like here? What do I need to start doing, stop doing, keep doing in order to make things how I want them? And also really diving into the different archetypes, like the prostitute archetype, and where in your business are you currently prostituting yourself? Uh, I don't know, much more needs to be said on that, but yeah. We also go into like higher self shopping and painting this vision of future you, because one thing I found especially true with women is nobody really asks you what you want, what you're yearning for. You've spent so long taking care of everyone else and being conditioned that everyone else's needs are more important than your own. And that's not a sustainable way to grow a business, because I've had so many of my clients say that they came to work with me as opposed to other coaches because they looked at their business and they were struggling, or they didn't seem like really excited about it. And they came to me because they're like, I want a business like yours. I didn't want a business like hers. And it's because I'm doing what I really want to do, that I love doing, that supports me and my lifestyle and Jackson's lavish lifestyle. Who's here? You see him? You see the Jackson? Very important. And also mapping out your aura aligned strategy. So we're all here to show up and work differently. Your day to day is going to look differently, and it's not just your aura type, it's in your entire human design and lifestyle and goals, and the kind of work you do with your clients, and really building in that self-care and that level of intentionality from the beginning, so that you have these proper structures and systems in place that allow you to breathe in the business and flow and follow what lights you up. Because without systems to support you, you're having to show up every single day, day in and day out, no matter how you feel or what's going on, just to make a dollar. And I'm never going to get you to the point where you're going to stop working. So don't ever think like, oh, I'll just be able to stop working one day, so I'm just going to create this course so people will just buy it. Like, that's never going to happen. But it is about building that into the business so that you can have that flexibility. That's what it's about. And none of this is just theory. This is the exact process I use to go from 0 to 6 figures while honoring my energy as a projector. And look, I get it if this sounds too good to be true. 7 years ago, I was in active addiction, got run over by a car, by this girl outside the trap house, actually, ended up in jail, not for that, for something else. And I thought I was here to just get by, but when I was in jail, it gave me a lot of time to reflect. And this girl looked at me one day and she said, Amanda, what are you doing here? And I was like, well, what do you mean? I fucked up. I hate the police. Like she's like, no, not that. Like, why are you here? You have a master's degree. Like, it just doesn't make sense for you. And I realized that it was because I never had learned to deal with my negative emotions. I didn't know, my parents didn't know I was a projector growing up. I was always super sensitive and an empath, and I really cared about other people, but I didn't feel like I knew I couldn't work the rest of my life 8 hours a day in a cubicle for somebody else just to enjoy my life at 65. And I knew there were people who had created success for themselves outside those parameters, but I didn't think it was possible for me. And I didn't see a path forward, and it was really discouraging and disempowering. But it got to a point where I didn't really have a choice but to get my shit together. I realized that even though I didn't feel like I was worth a 10th chance at this point, because I had let every single person in my life down so many times, I realized if I could get out of this and reach back on the other side and help someone else not feel so alone and ashamed and isolated, and to create their own version of success, then it would all be worth it. And so caring for other people is what got me to care about myself enough to get myself out of that. And so I did what society told me to do. You know, I have my master's degree. I got certified as a coach because I still didn't know how to turn my expertise into a business. I climbed the corporate ladder. I learned marketing and sales. And on the outside, I looked successful. But on the inside, I was dying. And I was sitting in my car one day after getting ghosted by a client for the third time, drinking my Diet Coke, eating my apple slices, scrolling TikTok lives when I found this guy talking about Skool. He had his whiteboard out. He was showing how it worked in his business, and something just felt right in me. And so I took the leap of faith, even though I didn't know that it would work. I followed the process, and within 90 days, I hit my first 10K month. And since then, I've helped clients go from 0 recurring revenue to 65 paid clients in 2 weeks. I helped Amanda go from no sales at all for 2 months to 4 10K clients paid in full within 15 days. And the stories just go on. So if you're ready to stop tweaking and perfecting and going down ChatGPT circles and rabbit holes, and build a business that honors your soul, your cocoon, your path, and your bank account, I created the free 100K Business by Design blueprint that breaks down everything I just shared. It's your own personal business map using your human design, the 4-season strategy, and the exact back end structure that you can literally just copy and paste. So I'm going to link that below this video. And if you want the full system, the AI system I talked about, and support, and if you're done trying to figure this all alone, you want a community to go with you, you're ready to 3 times your leads in 30 days, you can check out Spiritual Business School. That link is in the description. This is the only program that combines human design, school, and AI to help spiritual businesses build a 6-figure business that feels as good as it looks. Remember, your energy is sacred, and your business should be too. So please like this video and consider subscribing if this was helpful for you, and look forward to more aligned business strategies. I'll see you in the next one. Mwah.